It's what a 412-860-11A.
Hello, what's going on, y'all? Can I be heard?
What's going on, brother? Peace, so real.
Hey,
Peace,
Cliff.
brother.
Hey, peace, everybody. Peace, Ahmayan. Hey, before I even get into anything, Ahmayan, I just have one question before I get into what I get into. I have made PowerPoint presentations specifically on this topic. I'd like to know, would you like to have, this same dialogue again, except this time, would you like to have it with me next time? Yes or no?
No problem. Yeah, definitely, no problem.
All right, honorable. All right, so my question is this. Now, we kind of been through this before. And by the way, when you set it up, I'll be ready at any time. By the way, we kind of been through this before, but I just have a question. The word new. It actually appears in the Textus Receptus and the Byzantine text. Those texts kind of make up the King James Bible. When you have the word new there in the Greek, it's kainos. I've looked up what it actually means. It actually does mean fresh, new thing. The one that actually does kind of mean like renewed is actually the Greek word G341, and it means anakainu, and it means to renew. But this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to actually pretend that your definition is right. I'm going to pretend that kainu has two meanings, because you said it can mean new and just fresh. It means to renew or something like that. I'm going to pretend it has two meanings. So that means every time that we look in the Greek in the New Testament and we see that word kainu, we're going to take away the word new and we're going to put the word renew. Now, when we look at Greek lexicons, we do know that anytime you look at any definition, Greek, English, whatever, you do agree that the reason why it has more than one meaning is because of how the word is being used in sentences, paragraphs, chapters, etc. You do agree to that, right?
Yes.
Okay, good. So, that's basically just, the basics of definitions. So now we have to see how it's being used in Jeremiah 31:31, for example, where it says that, that God is going to make a new covenant. Now, you say that word right there actually means renew. And, when you actually look at it, you're once again getting that mixed up with the word H2319 or H219, I believe. And really, the word is kadash, and that is meaning basically new, right? It means new, fresh, new thing. The word that actually means renew in the Greek is actually H2318, and it is kadash, and it means to renew. But once again, I'm going to pretend that that's not true. I'm going to pretend that new has two meanings. When God says that he's going to make a new covenant, right? Going to be according to the covenant that I made with your fathers when I took the man out and his water. You get what I'm saying? Could that mean that it's just a renewed covenant, or does that mean it is an entirely distinct thing based on that sentence?
Okay. Do you know what an everlasting covenant is?
We'll get to that next. I just want you to answer my question. We'll get to that next.
I'm answering your question. I'm gonna answer your question.
No. You're not answering. You're not answering my question. You're trying to answer my question with a question with something that I'd like to move on to next time. Right now, we're focused on new. I'll deal with covenants next time. We're going to focus on new and how God is using it in Jeremiah 31. So, when he says that this new covenant will be not according to the covenant that I made with your fathers in the past, is that A, a kind of a renewed thing, or B, a fresh, brand new thing?
Okay, I'm going to read the Bible. Okay, I'm going to read the Bible. Because the scriptures say, you got to make sense of what he's telling us. Okay, I'm going to tell you I'm going to answer your question from the scriptures right here in Jeremiah. Jeremiah chapter 31, verse 33 says, he's telling you how it's going to be not according to the old covenant. It says, but this shall be the covenant that I shall make with the house of Israel after those days, saith the Lord. I will write my laws. It's the exact same laws, no different laws. I will write my law. We know that the Torah is God's law. No mistake in that. I'm going to write my laws, it says, in their inward parts and write them in their heart. So now,
okay, and pause. Now let's look at that.
Can I finish?
Okay, so
let me finish. The old covenant was written on stones first. He says, I'm going to take it off the stones and put it on you. That's how it is in accordance to the old covenant. It isn't something brand new. It just transferred from stones to the people.
Okay, pause. So let's take a snapshot at that right there. Now we have to remember, one, the word that's used there, it's not H2318, renew, which would perfectly go along with what you're setting up, but it is the word H2319. Now, if I were to believe what you just said right now, even though the word is H2319, I would have to believe that God is lying, because he just got done saying that this covenant is going to be so new that it will not be according to the covenant that I made with your fathers when I took them by the hand out and led them out in the wilderness. But yet I'm going to go ahead and take those same exact laws and I'm going to go ahead and put them into your heart, even though I just got done saying that this covenant will not be according to that covenant. It makes it a contradiction unless it actually does mean when he says my laws. Notice that he did not say the laws of Moses. He said my laws. Now, the only way that you could say that, there are some new laws are actually the teachings and laws of Jesus. And Jesus actually did give commandments that you cannot find in the old covenant. This is why he actually did do his Father's will. That's a whole other topic. I don't want to get too far off. So I'm asking a question again. In light of it actually saying that he has a new covenant that won't be based on the old covenant, how can you say that those laws are the laws of the old covenant?
Brother, old covenant says you cannot add to it. If this is a new covenant here in Jeremiah, it's an addition because the old covenant is an everlasting covenant. That's what it is. So if it's everlasting, that means it can't go nowhere. And it says in there you cannot add to it. If this is a new covenant, then God is violating his everlasting covenant. It's a violation of what it says. Okay, so brother, every time I talk, bro, you keep cutting me off. I don't do that to you, man. Okay, so if the old covenant, again, is an everlasting covenant, and it stipulates you cannot add to it, there is absolutely no way you can have something that's brand new because it is going to be an addition to it because you can't get rid of something that's everlasting.
Okay, so basically you're saying that because there is an everlasting covenant, that this means right here that this is the reason why it means it cannot be anything that's brand new. It has to be renewed. So you're basing your definition not even on anything. You're just basing it on the term everlasting covenant. So you're basically using something totally outside of Jeremiah 31. So I'm just going to go ahead and move on to the everlasting covenant. So when it says everlasting covenant, what is the context of it being everlasting? Now, the reason why I ask this question is because you have to remember the Jews did not think quite like us. When we use the word forever, we literally just mean unconditionally forever, like period. That's it. But when you look in the Old Testament, when they actually do use that word forever, it actually does have a context. I don't want to go through any examples because we don't have time. What I'm going to ask you is, does the word, does that everlasting covenant, does it have a condition, or is it literally forever?
It's literally forever.
Okay, so it's literally forever. All right, so that means that once this covenant starts, we should not hear anything that's going to talk about something that's going to, have something totally different, which is actually the new covenant. If this is true, then that means based on the fact that God is literally talking about a new covenant, right? And Hebrews actually talks about, a better covenant. It actually says better promises. It says a new and living way. There's so many ways that it talks about the new covenant being distinct from the old covenant, not a continuation, right? And that is consistent with what I showed in Jeremiah 31:31. So either two things are going on. One or two things are going on here. Either A, this everlasting covenant actually does have a limited context, which means it's the covenant itself. Or B, God is somehow just lying. So which one is it going to be based on how Hebrews is talking about covenants and how Jeremiah is talking about covenants?
Okay. I read earlier when Paul referenced Jeremiah 31:31. I'm going to read it again. This is Hebrews chapter 8. I'm going to start at verse 8. It says, For finding fault with them, he saith, Behold, the days come, saith the Lord, when I will make a new covenant with the house of Israel and with the house of Judah. The English phrase here, will make. There's one Greek word, suntilio, Sunteleo. You can look this up. This word means to complete or to finish. It's consummated a pre-existing process. This is what this Greek word suntilio means. So Paul is letting us know here that this new covenant is something that's pre-existing and is in a process of being completed by using the word suntilio. So that rules out it being something brand new immediately. Once that word is there, it kills the whole brand new issue immediately right in its tracks.
Yeah, I apologize, ssoreal. We got to move on. We only have about 2 more minutes to this particular segment. But LeRon, you got to respond real quick before we move on